Good afternoon. Today we're having a conversation about vehicle wrapping. And vehicle wrapping and vehicle graphics is one of the fastest growing areas and application areas in our industry. My first guest is a sign maker, and he's been a vehicle wrapper for many years now. So his company is based in Bury St Edmunds. It's Coastline Graphics, and I'd like you to give a warm welcome, please, to Mr. Scott Breaker, Managing Director of Coastline Graphics. Go on, Scott. What do you think of that?
Okay.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Oh, this feels really weird, doesn't it?
I did say it would be weird, didn't I? Yeah.
So
Well, thanks so much for coming, Scott.
No problem.
Coastline Graphics has been going about, 30 years or so, is it?
29.
29.
So 30
Right.
next
I'm
year.
aging you. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So I started when I was at primary school.
You're kidding.
No.
No, don't start
No.
that on me. So it is primarily started out as a sign company, really.
Well, no,
Still-
actually, we started out as a striping company.
Oh, another one.
So remember, in the 80s, every single car had pin lines down the side.
Yeah.
And we'd go to all the body shops and put the pin lines on, and then we started doing things like Suzuki Vitaras, the old days with rhinos on them, and all hand-cut vinyl graphics. This is even pretty much before...
Before wide format.
Oh,
even.
definitely before
Yeah.
printing. The Gerber Edge was probably the most cut-in thing on the market. And we kind of went from there to people wanted to, add different colours to their car, tribal stickers and things like that. But everything at that point had a stripe.
Yeah.
So we'd go around all the body shops and put these stripes on.
All right, okay. So really, where did the vehicle graphic side of it come in? Was it just something you thought, oh, hang on a minute, that's going on in Germany, wasn't it, with all the taxi cabs and things?
Well, the thing is, from that point of view, you're in the body shops and you're having vans that were painted, and people wanted promotions done. So we bought a little 600mm Roland cutter.
All right.
We then started doing people's vehicles and promotion graphics
Right.
for the car industry. So, sale offers, promos, and then that eventually went into the end user,
Right.
as in the businesses like local butchers and other dealerships and things like that. So we then did their vans. So
Yeah.
when a dealer sold a van, he sold it with the graphics, and that's how it started.
Yeah.
And all that was normally just Canada's flat cut.
Like plumbers' vans and things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God for plumbers.
So yeah, I know. But so when did the actual wide format printing and the full wraps or partial wraps, when did that start to appear on your radar anyway?
On our radar, that was probably 16, 17 years ago.
Right.
When at that time you'd have a Gerber Edge, or you started with the first very aggressive solvent printers.
Yeah.
And people were finding that you were getting a bigger image onto a vehicle that had to go through corners, etc. So in those days we just used to cut it.
Right.
So when you have the edges, you'd kiss cut it, push it in, and it would 9 times out of 10 stay.
Yeah. Yeah. Good enough. For,
Then there was a local company in Norwich called DDI, who are kind of were the pioneers for us to do vehicle wrapping.
Right.
And I think Avery was one of the first products we ever used.
Yeah.
In that respect, we did a course there, and then it started from there.
So today, how many guys have you got doing wrapping now on
I've
the
got
team?
6 wrapping.
Yeah.
Various stage of wrapping. Wrapping is quite encompassing from a full vehicle wrap, commercial, in full colour, or colour change, to wrapping half the, a van with a nice big image on it, with then cut text as well. So the skill level's still the same,
Yeah.
but it can be done just on smaller amounts of the van. And we have about 6 at the moment.
Okay, right. I wanted to actually ask the audience if we got anybody here that's actually looking to get into wrapping and start. So you're looking at starting, and you're looking at starting. Good. That will help us actually gear our conversation for you. Thank you for that. If you have any questions you want to ask as we're going along, feel free, just put your hand up, and then we'll get a mic to you, and then you can steer the conversation to get what you want from this session. Okay. Scott, so Coastline is now, is firmly established. So I came to see you on a visit many years ago. We made a film together, didn't we?
I had hair.
Yeah,
yes.
Well, I remember it. I didn't want to say, but I remember.
Thank you very much.
I was slimmer then.
And also grey as well.
I was about 6 stone slimmer. At the time, you were really focused on a lot of colour changes for local car dealers and things.
Yes.
That was quite fascinating to me. I didn't realise that car dealers had cars that really just didn't shift because of their colour.
I think one of the things vinyl has done is that it gives people the ability to be able to choose something that they don't necessarily think it's applicable for other people.
Right.
And one of the first things we did, we had people like Toyota who were trying to sell salmon pink car.
Right.
No one wanted this salmon pink car, so we wrapped it in a white. That's
Right.
one of the first ones we did.
Yeah.
And it sold. So, the manufacturers now, kind of a bit better on their colour ranges, but people can literally have any colour they want, and not be worried about the end sale as such.
I understand that, because the bling on cars now has gone mad, hasn't it? You know, we've been through different fashions and so forth.
Well, the first main fashion was good old Fast and the Furious.
Right.
When that started off with the big tribal stickers and two-tones and things like that, people roof wraps, and that started for the more of the youth to get their cars, out there and different.
Yeah.
And vinyl allowed that to happen.
Right.
And now with the better materials and the main dealers have now taken that on, whereas before they're very aftermarket type of thing.
Yeah.
We now do work for the main dealers direct, which are happy to sell the graphics on there before and guarantee them, you see. So it has changed quite a lot.
We've got a bit of a clip to actually have a look at.
All right, yes.
You could talk us
Not
through.
my wife,
actually.
is it? No?
Not quite. But this, I think, is actually showing a little bit of your workshop and what you do there. And
That's Aaron.
so the 3M authorised wrappers.
This is a project we've done with 3M and Pioneer.
Yeah.
This is a car that's going out for the next 3 years. Now what we've used here is a wrap reflective, which is a nice new product from 3M, and we've used a special carbon wrap on the back of this. So it's a kind of a mixed match of different materials that they're trying to showcase.
Interesting that you would actually be wrapping for 3M.
Well,
considering that they've got all of those different sort of teams and trainers and.
Yeah, we've done a couple of projects for 3M, and 3M are quite particular in who they use and who they promote, and to be used by them is a great honour.
Yeah.
But it's also a very good product. There's other products out there, but we've kind of got a good relationship with 3M now, and you have to do training, you have to pass tests for them to then warrant what you do.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good. We're impressed with it. But that's a lovely product, and we've got a load of photos that just come through, which we can't show yet, but that'll go live nationally very soon.
Well, I'm sure I'll be writing about it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So for the guys in the audience that are really looking to start getting into it, I mean, what advice can you really give them to help them get started on the road to it?
It depends where you start from. I think there's two trains of thought. Some body shops are getting into wrapping.
Yeah.
So they've got the facilities, they've got the environment, and that's one of the main things you have to have.
Yeah.
So if you've got a garage at home, you want to wrap in it. If it's for yourself, good. If you don't bother.
Right.
You need to have the right environment.
Right.
The next thing is practice.
Yeah.
Now we practiced on live cars.
Yeah.
because you had to. We
Yeah.
do it so when we got into it, the fact that a vinyl would go around a mirror was like alchemy. And if it did fail, it was like, we'll do it again, it's fine. Now people are very much, it's got to work, it's got to be right first time.
Right.
But people have to have training, is the first one. And training will take you so far. And the next one is just practice, practice, practice.
Okay. I can understand that, yeah.
You know.
But also, it's all about, I mean, as my next guest will I'm sure, tell us,
Yep.
because he likes to tell me, but it's all about cleanliness and preparation
Absolutely.
and all of those things. And it's not just putting a bit of sticky back plastic on a vehicle, is it? And trimming it off.
Well, you know, if anyone here's got sign companies and graphics companies, we've put graphics in the middle of a field, in a full scale, gale, and a normal vinyl, you can kind of get away with it to a point. Vehicle wrapping, you can't, or you're lucky to get away with it. And the problem with that is you are just kicking yourself, because the client a week later won't remember you have done it in the wrong place, in the wrong environment. They want it redone.
Okay. Question for you guys, actually, that identified yourselves. Do you currently print, or are you looking at working more on just colour change vinyls? Mostly print. And you're mostly print. Okay, so we're talking about printing graphics, so that's important.
Yeah, well, again, printed graphics, again, what machines you're using to print. Always take advice from the vinyl manufacturers of how you should prepare your vinyl. Outgassing is a major thing we've always done.
Yeah.
So we've got big drying rooms that outgas, allow it to settle before you put it on the machine. There's certain other different printers that allow you to do that quicker. It's
outgassing that I find quite strange. You know, I mean, outgassing. What is that?
Well, when you print, the ink is a solvent based, or even if it's latex, there's an element of solvent in it, and that has to evaporate. So it's a bit like it's drying. So that evaporation will either come out the back and go into mid-air, or into the vehicle where it can't go anywhere, and then hence it will lift up.
All right.
So it's very, very important. Very important.
You've done some stuff for what was it, Clarkson, Hammond, and May, wasn't it? You did the trailer.
Yeah, we've done all the Top Gear for about.
We've got a.
Oh, have you?
Just a clip of it. I stole it from your for the link from your website for
did you?
it.
Oh,
actually.
yes.
And this trailer, you actually wrapped for them, isn't it?
Yes, we did. This is just after the kind of. When Jeremy Clarkson kind of got kicked off. And instead of being at the Top Gear show, it had to be changed.
Yeah.
So we wrapped both sides of this trailer here. We did some car graphics, etc., just for their tour promo.
Yeah.
But a lot of the shows we did over the last 10, 15 years, not everything, but we've done quite a few things. You know, and TV work is also really good. We just did the new program, The Bodyguard, that's coming on BBC. We just wrapped the 6-carriage train for their first opening scenes, and that was a 5-day job. Had to be wrapped and then de-wrapped at the end of it.
Fantastic.
So,
Fantastic. Well, I'm keen to get our next guest on, because I'm sure that you'd like to meet him as well. He's a vehicle wrapper that specialises in the motorsports industry, but he's also a technical editor on my website, theguild.co.uk, so be sure to check that out. And he's really worked across the formulas, from Ginettas through to Le Mans prototypes and all BTCC racing cars. He was actually the first wrapper to ever produce a full body wrap for a BTC touring car championship a couple of years ago. So would you please welcome independent freelance vehicle wrapper for the motorsports industry, Jason Price.
Hey, Jason, let me do that.
Nice to see you again, mate.
Sit that way.
So, Jace, we've talked to Scott about, the kind of the world that he's in, and, it's a different field to what you're doing. But again, for the guys in the audience that are thinking about getting into wrapping, I know you're very vociferous about the the need for cleanliness, the need for practice, and all those things. What tips could you give these guys that they're thinking about getting started? How learn from the pros?
Practice is a big thing.
Yeah.
And having confidence with the films.
Yeah. Hold it a bit closer.
But just keep going. When you fail, you know why you failed, and keep going.
Yeah.
You will fail again. I fail on a regular basis.
A bit closer.
So you just got to constantly practice and make notes of your mistakes is a big thing.
Really? Notes? Yeah.
Because where vehicle wrapping is concerned, you've got to know what the film's going to do before it does it. Because the moment it's done, it was too late.
Yeah.
Especially where print's concerned, like the guys want to get involved in print film, you can't afford to keep making mistakes because that's a much more expensive hobby to correct.
Yeah. So what sort of toolkit are these guys going to need to invest in? Because, without the right tools, everybody thinks, well, we can just wrap.
Quality heat guns.
Yeah.
Don't buy the 1999 one. Spend money, buy quality, get quality. So heat guns, extension leads, have 2 of everything.
2 of everything?
Yeah, at least,
Is that because one's bound to fail?
This is a one-man band, that's why.
Right, yeah.
And this is when you throw one across a workshop because someone's gone horribly wrong. There's a great set of industry cleaners out there, all the major manufacturers. A lot of the film manufacturers have their own cleaners and pre-cleaners. 3M, they have their own surface treatment. Specifically designed for that particular film. Avery have the same.
Monkey Shine we used to talk about, didn't we? Was it called Monkey Shine? That's a good cleaner.
Monkey.
Yeah.
That's for post treatment. So looking after the film after.
Looking after it, right? Okay. Yeah.
Frog juice was another one.
Frog juice.
Frog juice.
Frog juice.
As a sealant, yeah.
Now, you once told me that one of the best tips that you could ever give anybody is to actually go to a scrapyard and buy a load of body panels and body parts and
just
clean them.
Well, that goes back to practicing, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I started wrapping vehicles when the airflow material wasn't about, as I'm sure. Avery 900 cast material around the back of an Aston Martin. It's going to make you smile. So you start the hard way, and then anything else is going to get easier for you.
Yeah, okay.
Because wrap film's expensive to practice with.
Right, okay.
So you can buy a standard calendar film and just get used to how heating material affects it. It's not going to stay down because it's not designed to, but what you're going to do is you're going to understand what heat does to materials, watch what the film does once you've got it up to a temperature, understand how you're going to push it into a recess.
Yeah.
Just because it's got bubbles in it, that doesn't matter because you're just practicing on the technicalities of wrapping a piece of material around a convex or concave shape.
Right, let me come on to Scott.
Yep.
Scott, when you were learning, I mean, obviously you were pioneering, weren't you, back then?
I wouldn't say pioneering, but the materials were being developed as we went. I mean, the original Avery vinyl had problems, but they've developed the vinyl so much, especially over the last 5 years even, with air release, better glues, that you can have a lot more confidence, especially on different substrates now, that it's going to stay there, that it's not going to fail. Yeah. A lot of the times before you're being very tentative, is tentative wrappers tend to be creasing up and trying to get them in at the last minute. The guys who are confident will push a recess in one go. Yeah. And it's a lot less time to fail.
I think what is a failed wrap, Jace? Tell us, what causes a wrap to go wrong? I mean, you think you've put it on beautifully.
Too many things. That's the problem.
A wrap will fail because of bad installation.
It's really down to the fitter.
Yeah.
It's not the materials.
Well, there's a whole host of reasons why it's going to fail. Your ambient temperature of your workshop has got to be of at least 18 degrees.
22 degrees.
Yeah, 18 to 22. Yeah. Match the film to the temperature of the room. Don't get your brand new roll of cold film from your courier out the box and then expect that to work, you're going to shock it.
All right, so you want to leave the film to rest, say, 24 hours in the working area.
Everything has to acclimatise.
Yeah,
right.
They've got to be of a similar nature to each other. You know, and a big thing is post-heating. So you get you heat your film up, your laser thermometer. Again, like you said, speaking to the material manufacturers of what their particular material works best at, and bake it into position.
So you've applied the adhesive film, and then you've actually got to then heat it again.
Cook it in.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, these vinyls have a memory. You know, think of an elastic band.
Yeah.
You know, you can stretch it to wherever you want to. When you let it go, it's going to go back to where it was.
Right.
A wrap vinyl is the complete opposite.
Right.
So when you stretch it, once you heat it to, on average, 100 degrees, some are different, it then forgets its memory, and that's why it'll stay there.
Right.
Without that, it will then go back.
Start popping off.
And where you fail normally is in the concave areas.
Right.
The bits you're pushing in. On the convex, like bonnets, etc., if it does stretch or retract, it's pushing against each other.
Yeah.
So you don't get so much fails there, more mainly on the edges. But it's so important to get it right and follow and take your time on the finishing.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, because a lot of us are, used to putting a graphic on the side of a van, that's done, move on. It's half done with wrapping. You've got to finish it off.
Yeah. You once said to me, Jason, never wheel your newly wrapped vehicle out of the garage, or the workshop on a freezing cold day as soon as you've done it.
No,
what happens then?
Well, again, it goes back down to the shocking of the material, because you've cooked it into position. If your vehicle does need to leave its premises, then gently allow it to, open the doors and windows up and just acclimatise everything, because you're not going to wheel it outside and it'll go pop and come off.
Right.
In 3 months' time it will, because it's stressed everything out.
Yeah.
And then
so you won't notice it yourself.
No, your customer will come back to you in 3 months' time. It's coming out of recesses, corners, especially where commercial vehicles are concerned. You've got like really tight little corners up near the rear corners. So just manage your time and workflow, because it's only ever going to come back at you if you try and rush it.
Okay.
One of my worst failures, I think, was a client I had who was a big client locally, and he wanted me to wrap some vehicles for him to a deadline, to a price structure, and you're not building yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
If you're not using the right materials, you're doing it to his deadline. He wanted it done in 2 days. Of course, we can put the graphics on in 2 days. We could do this in 2 days, but you're not doing it correctly.
Right, I see.
So I never rush anything. If we're doing TV work and things like that, it hasn't got to be on there for long, so you can get away with certain things. But if you're doing someone's, Porsche 911, he wants that to be perfect for next year, not the year after.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've had it 3 days or 4 days rather than 2, at the end of the day, shouldn't be an issue to him.
So when you're first time wrapping, you need to let and make your customer aware that this is going to take numbers of days to do,
and and stand fast on it as well.
Yeah.
You're the one who will be paying for the material.
Right.
You're the one who will be spending your time redoing it, because you're trying to do something that isn't. You're pushing the boundaries. Sometimes you'll be fine, but
yeah. Let's talk about materials, because obviously, without materials there'd be no vehicle wrapping. I mean, Jace, you working in motorsports, you must have pretty stringent, requirements for materials, because when they're flying around a track at 150 mile an hour, you don't want a wrap flying off, do you?
Not particularly. It never really ends well if that happens.
No.
For the sort of Le Mans prototype work, it has to be a 3M or Avery.
Yeah.
And that's no disservice to any other material. I just need to know that that's not going to fail on me, because my neck is on the line. The touring car side of things, you're lucky if it gets around the first corner before something comes off. That's not your fault anyway, because the bumper's in a hedge somewhere.
Redoing it.
Yeah. But where the printed stuff is, Fern, it's colour. Not fastness, but getting the colours absolutely spot on, because all the sponsors will want all of their colours right every time.
Yeah.
So that's got to be consistent throughout an entire season. So motorsports, you know, I tend to sort of stick to the higher end of the market, the materials, just for my own peace of mind. Otherwise, I'd never sleep at night.
And what about you, Scott? What sort of materials are you working with?
Well, we are a 3M wrapping company, so on full colour, we'll always use the 3M material. Not saying it's the best, but we know the material, and that's half your battle. If you don't know your material and you're using different materials every time you do something, you have a different set of rules.
Right.
For colour change, we've used things like Hexis. Avery's very, very good. Oracle is very good now. MacTac. They'll have different colours for different ranges. So a customer will come in and want a bright green that only Hexis does, or a yellow that 3M work on. If we can, we'd still use 3M or Avery. They are the best. But you know, you've got to work with all different materials. Right. So you know, we'll go to the choice of the client.
So let's talk about printing the wrap, because you know, obviously the guys here are going to be looking to print. So when you first start producing vehicle graphics, what do you need to know? Are there certain templates, softwares? What software would you recommend? Let's start with with the basics. Go to the software.
We've when we started first doing van graphics, the first thing we brought years ago was an impact CD. So the guys who do the vehicle outlines. And
what's an impact CD?
Well, it's got all the vehicle graphics, all the vehicle outlines, and it gives you a template. So you don't have to, originally we used to go out and measure the van, draw the van, and then use that as a template. Now these guys have already done that for you. They're very, very accurate, and we design from that.
Well, I was going to ask you about design, because if you're working for, say, a corporate client, they've got brand identities and these sorts of things. They're not designing the wrap, are they? Are they coming to you with assets and asking you to work with them?
A lot of the stuff we design in-house. I've got 5 designers who take the client's needs and design something for them. We also get marketing companies who design van graphics, to which point you have to show them that this is a 3D product. With things going around the back of the van, is it going to line up, etc. So we will design and help them with that. So we do best of both, really. Okay. So.
And Jason, with the motorsports teams, I guess you've really got quite stringent constraints, haven't you, with sponsors?
Yes. I was saying is the impact libraries are great. I just bought my new one today, funny enough. But where you're going to find a template for some of the prototype vehicles, even the touring cars are all changed, they're all different, they look similar. So it's going back to old school, measuring tape, taking photos, templating it, and then going back to the drawing board or Adobe Illustrator is my staple diet of design.
Is it? Illustrator?
Yeah. It's just industry standard.
It's pretty much a sign industry standard. Are you guys familiar with using Illustrator?
Yeah, good. So it's the only way forward, really, to be fair.
It is. Yeah, no, it is.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, there's, so designing wraps, or you get agencies that design things for you. They don't understand that they can't put that design from a wing going across a bonnet and expect that whole thing to flow, because that's printed in 2 different sections. It's going to be physically bent around using heat, and the chances of it meeting across that bridge are going to be quite slim. So you kind of have to take their design, adjust it a little bit, and try and achieve what they want, and make it look very similar. It is a bit of a dark art. You need to understand the shape of a vehicle and just look at something and see what's going to work across it and what isn't going to work across it.
So for these guys that are really, they're experienced with using their printing machines, but they've never perhaps done a full vehicle wrap printed one, what advice, Scott, can you give them to help get started with that in terms of the printing? We talk about outgassing and stuff, but there's more tips and tricks, I'm sure.
It's technical things. Depends on what print system you have, and how you design it. So having a good designer,
helps.
Is the main part of our business is from the design, and everything then will flow from that.
Right.
But talk to your manufacturers. And there's like today I've been walking around this show, and there's new UV viewable printers that will stretch a lot further than I've ever before.
Yeah.
And they're suddenly usable for wrapping as well. So the industry just changes. Keep looking at magazines. Keep, looking at different new ideas because it is changing.
Yeah. What about from your perspective, Jason? I mean, what advice can you give to people when they first start printing full wraps? And a question I'm dying to ask is like, which part of the car do you start with, and what do you do first? And how does
The outside, normally.
how do you go about planning to do a wrap? Because if you gave me the tools to do it, I mean, for a start, it'd be the biggest bodge ever made, but I wouldn't have a clue where to begin, even with a manual. What tips can you give us?
Where to start wrapping a vehicle is usually controlled on how the design works.
But from the printing perspective.
Oh, printing perspective.
You've got to print the stuff.
Whatever's most economical on the print layout.
Yeah.
So if you've got if you can fit 2 wings,
Yeah.
up a sheet,
Yeah.
great, and then maybe a bonnet, 2 doors.
Yeah, but a lot of commercial wraps are full sides, so you've got to be you've got to put the whole lot on.
Yeah.
So with a colour change, you can do the bonnet. So if you do the colour
It doesn't
change,
matter what order you do that.
well, like you do again, because you want to start doing on the first thing you do on a colour change: wing mirrors,
Right.
bumpers, the things that are the most failing parts. So by the end of it, they're fine.
Yeah.
Right.
If
they're
they've
done
failed,
first.
you can change it.
Wing mirrors and bumpers.
Don't
guys.
do that. But that's the hardest bits. The first thing we normally do is the door,
Yeah.
the wing, the easy bits. Do those last.
What about bits you take off? Should you dismantle parts of cars?
There's a thing.
Yeah.
We do to a point.
Yeah.
You have to be a little bit careful now of what you take off, especially modern cars, if warranties can be voided because of it.
Oh, really?
Yep, certain handles from manufacturers that can the battery. Have you ever found this?
Oh.
Killing the battery.
Yeah.
Brand new car. When you wrap it, you leave the door open. You wrap that. Time you've gone back, car's dead.
Ah.
Well, you can't just jumpstart a brand new car.
Right.
We have trickle charges on all our cars now when we're wrapping, and we've learnt the hard way.
Yeah.
Blowing up a battery on a Range Rover Sport that costs $4,000 because it's done all the CPU. And that's only because you're just trying to give it a jump start afterwards.
Yeah.
So that is very, very important. But I'm sure it gives a big scaremongering here, but things like little trickle charges.
Well, it's important to know because these are things that you aren't going to come across.
If you had a Mark II Golf and you're wrapping that,
Yeah,
you can leave it all day long.
Yeah.
I'd say a Volvo will literally battery's dead in about half an hour.
You're an advocate of having the right tools for the job, I know. Somewhat anal about it, as I know.
A little bit.
Trim tools. Talk to me.
Trim tools, yeah, they've come on in leaps and bounds. Back in the day when you used to be able cutting up your 3M squeegees and rounding the edges off, they actually make them on purpose now.
Yeah.
You can get the nice little sets with the nice little edging tools for getting down under the gutter trims. We've
got to go to the dentist now and get their tools.
That's it, yeah.
Give the guys a bit of advice about trim removal because I wouldn't even know where to begin about that.
Yeah, be careful and do it slowly. Trim removal, most modern trims have aluminium or steel chassis in them, especially the window rubbers. If you just go hoiking them up and you've bent it, that's never going back down straight. And if you don't know, Google it. Unfortunately, someone else has already
Google's
fallen
your
off
best
that
mate,
bridge.
isn't
It is, isn't it? And like door handle removals, and
Right.
things like that. And, you get the question, how much do my door shuts? Yeah.
Yeah. But the trouble is, some modern vehicles, the trims on the top of the roofs, you'd think they're screwed on, they're glued on, they're a replaceable item.
Right. What do you do about that?
You replace them.
Oh, do you?
So you
you
can
break
be,
something,
especially
you put
on vans, the plastic trims. Now, depending on what manufacturer you work for, some of them will just clip off, push back on. Some will just snap. And if you don't put that in your budget, you could be out of quite a bit of money.
Right. So you need to actually start costing your jobs to take
Yeah, but unfortunately, that comes with
consideration of it.
experience.
Yeah.
And, ask the manufacturer.
Right.
YouTube is amazing.
Yeah.
Is it?
Absolutely amazing my guys are rappers. They're not mechanics.
Yeah.
To take a door handles off certain, you've got a transit van, you've got 2 clips, done. Certain cars, you have to take door cards off, and you have to go quite deep into it. So YouTube, they're always on YouTube. I think they're on the phone playing tennis, looking how it's done. How do you take a door? 9 times out of 10, they'll find it.
Right.
So it's great, fantastic.
Yeah. What about working with the materials manufacturers? Have you found good experiences with that? Are they willing to come and get involved with you, or
Sorry, say
the
again.
materials manufacturers or the printing machine manufacturers? Do they give you good support on that?
Yeah, they do, and they always like good feedback as well.
Really?
And yeah, I'll give them honest feedback.
Yeah.
Because if something's not working, then I'll tell it. Because otherwise, if you don't tell the manufacturers the right thing, they'll merely go off and manufacture it and make it and sell it to people. Not that it's my responsibility, but I'll just.
But we've just tested a vinyl for somebody and it's failed miserably.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have to have that feedback.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So, right, let's say we've wrapped a car in Prince of Wales check. It's my Land Rover and I wanted it, in chavvy
pink.
check. Yeah, in pink. What should you do to protect the wrap?
well, I always say sponge wash. Don't put it through a car wash.
All right, why's that?
I wouldn't put my normal car through a car wash.
Oh, right, okay.
So anything, scratching, you can jet wash it from a distance. You just clean it as normal. Certain chromes and etc. will need specialist cleaners. But vinyl is, remember, that's a quite a thick paint.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot for it to scratch and a lot of people get jet wash and they try to jet wash it to the corners and it can pick up.
Right.
But if you just hand wash them, no problem at all.
Okay. Well, what about from your perspective, Jason? When you're doing a racing car, do you have to have anything to the material so it can withstand it?
Certain the high-speed vehicles, I have to ensure all the edges are sealed down on all the air impact face edges. That's just as a security thing. Yeah, I mean, you can buy the little blue pens back in the day and just sort of run an edge round, or what I
Lipstick,
tend to do.
was it lipstick remover?
Something along like that.
Clear lipstick. That's it.
Yeah, and
Not lipstick. Nail polish.
Nail polish, yeah, and it gives a hard edge because you don't want that flicking up at all. Or I use the Venture Shield system.
So what's the Venture Shield?
It's a stone protection thing. That's really. You think wrapping vinyls are doing that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
Really
know what
difficult.
it is. What
No,
is
it's just
it?
initially it was designed, as far as I'm aware, for the faces of helicopter blades in the Gulf War.
Right.
And that's why all the motorsports teams call it heli tape, and it only ever used to come in that wide.
Right.
3M then have taken over the company that initially made it, and they now make the Venture Shield system.
Is it a film or
It's
like
a clear film.
or a
that
laminate?
No, it's a clear, high impact film. It's for stone guard and stone chipping,
Oh,
but
okay.
it once it's on, you've set it all in, it's staying on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be for the sort of job that you might do for a customer, that might want to change his mind about his wrap in a year.
Well, some of my customers will want me to wrap their vehicle and stone guard it, or
right.
stone guard it underneath and wrap it over the top,
Okay.
which is always a joy.
So from your perspective, do you have, have you got any specific questions you'd like to ask? Okay, well, we'll get a mic to you. Oh, Jess, can you get to do that one?
Go on in.
Thank you.
Off you go.
Let's give you a microphone. And
Yeah, basically, so I just wanted to, obviously, you were talking about the right environment, taking your time, making sure you prep it right, letting it set before driving it out. That's all time. So obviously I live in London, so getting a premises like that is going to be expensive with the right, obviously, size and sealed properly and stuff like that. So one car, say 1,300 to wrap, and then film, if you want the good stuff as you're talking about. I don't want it to fail. We're looking at 520 probably for a full wrap. So the profit is about maybe £500. per car, roundabout. My rent is £2,000 a month, and I'm starting off. So how do you kind of balance that? Because say if I do like 4 cars in a month, to begin with, I might not even get that. So how do you kind of turn a profit there, or is it even worth kind of?
I personally would not just do vehicle wrapping on a single basis, as you just said there. If you've got premises, but on the other hand, you still got to price it that you still make money. So for people who will wrap a car for £500, let them. And you know, part wraps are very good because they're quicker. Roof wraps is a very good one to get in with initially. So you do detailing, which is a lot quicker again. But your commercial speed will get better and better as you get more proficient. But don't rush it initially because you'll just go around in circles.
Yeah, jumping straight in, trying to do a full wrap in a given period of time, you're going to rush yourself, you're going to rush the job, and it's only going to end badly for you. So I say detailing, doing parts, wing mirrors. The big thing at the moment is the whole dechroming. And just, it's a lot more difficult than it looks, isn't it? It's so fiddly.
We've just done a Wraith, black Wraith.
And build up, your speed, your proficiency, and your self-confidence, and then charge what you're worth, not what they think they should pay. As you said, someone wants to wrap it for £500, off you go then. If someone's willing to pay £3,000 for a job to do it done with the right film, and you're skilled enough to do it, then you've got absolutely every right to charge that amount of money for the job that you do. I try and say this to a lot of people all of the time. It's not for everybody. It is hard work. It's heartbreaking work sometimes. You could be rolling around on the floor at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to finish that bumper because you've had to do it twice because it's gone wrong on you. You're going to learn very hard industry, but if you get it right and you're skilled and you're good enough, it'll be an enjoyable industry.
But the other thing is use it as a marketing tool. Now we've initially, when we've done full colour wraps, use it as a marketing tool, so you're not making as much money on that vehicle there, but you're getting all the other work. You're getting the vinyl graphics on the side. There's because you can vehicle wrap. Your customers are a lot more proficient that you can do the normal stuff well. So you've got to mix and match it. And vehicles. We say vehicle wrapping. We've done boats, trains, go-karts. There's loads of things you can wrap. Toy cars. So it's not just a 4-day on a vehicle. You can do lots of different things. But the skill set's the same.
Does that answer your question? Yeah. Is there any more from the floor? Would anybody else like to ask a last question? If not, then, well, thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you
Our
all
pleasure.
for coming.